All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's nichebot live call-in show. This is the show where you get the intervention you need to blow right past those articles. Did I say articles? I tend to sometimes say articles. And you don't want to blow right past those articles. You want to blow right past those obstacles that stand in your way. I am your host, Jim Morris, founder of nichebot since 2004, and actually just yesterday it was our 7th anniversary since we first registered the domain name, but I think we actually first finally got everything set up and ready to go like June 7th of 2004. So incredible how far we've come since we had a simple little one-page website that was basically free. So let me tell you real quickly why I created the show for gold and platinum users. For one, I'm a very huge advocate of this, and I usually blow past any quick start guide, whether it's a manual for a TV or setting up anything, and that's one of the main reasons why I set up the show, is because so many people I have found through our customer support system blow right past that quick start guide. Besides that fact, content is customized towards you every week, so whatever questions you have, we're able to handle those right here on the air live. And if you have any sort of questions, that's the moment you want to make sure to get some interventions, because this show is about getting clarity and having breakthroughs. Now, one thing that's importantly critical, I don't know if that's proper English, but whatever. Breakthroughs come with repeated exposure. No matter what happens, you've got to do something enough for you to actually get an understanding of how things work. Whether it's got to be obviously a technique that works, but it's only going to happen through repeatedly exposing yourself to something that actually works. Unfortunately, some people, most people, stop very short of things actually finally starting to work for them, because people get frustrated and they back off, they quit. Not a good thing. I've quit many times before. Now, there will be a replay of the show from the live show directory at nichebot.com/live show, and actually we have relocated that to nichebot.com/blog/live-show, and it's not the underscore but the dash. And we've relocated. If you just go to the blog, you'll see all nichebot.com/blog. You'll see all the live shows there available. All you have to do is make sure to log in to be able to see the latest show, because they're all password protected. So only members of silver and gold and platinum members are able to access that. Now, you should share in my epiphany that happened back in 2004 when I discovered the power of backlinks. And if you've been paying attention or you're signed up on our free newsletter, you would have seen recently we talked about blog networks and how it's really tough nowadays to go and comment on other blogs in your industry and get backlinks, because most people have the no-follow links, which doesn't give you credit for a backlink to your site. Plus, you can't really put in your keyword anchor text in a blog comment, because you usually want to put your name in that place where you usually want to put your keyword phrase. So it looks kind of weird when you put a keyword phrase in place of where your name is actually supposed to be. And plus, sometimes it's not very good etiquette to be able to put your keyword phrase in place of your name. So blog networks are a place where you can find a set of blogs, usually set up by an owner of many, many hundreds of blogs across many, many different web hosts, where you can be able to put your content up and actually have a live link back to any one of your web pages. And that's the power of what I discovered back in 2004, and that's when things really starting to happen for me. And it took me about really kind of 3 to 4 years to kind of really get that and understand it, coming from an absolutely newbie perspective back in 2000. Now this is an example of what a hyperlink looks like, or a keyword phrase hyperlink. And you'll see the keyword phrase is right here. And you usually want to have your keyword phrase. I would recommend a 3 to 5 word keyword phrase. And you want to have a link that clearly goes straight to whichever page you're trying to get ranked for a keyword. And you want to find many, many places to put your keyword phrase hyperlinks within your content, and it's highly suggested that you're able to control the content where you want to put this keyword phrase hyperlink, because you want to be able to put contextual content that relates to the keyword phrase hyperlink. Because if you have a hyperlink that it says, you know, 4-prong, you know, bathroom faucet, and your site is about, and the site that it's pointing to is about summer swimsuits, it's obviously not, you know, the search engines are going to pick up on that, and you're not going to get as much credit for that link unless you have really good on-point contextual content around that keyword phrase that has to do with what that keyword phrase is in that hyperlink. Now, I used reciprocal linking back in 2004 through about 2006 to get backlinks to nichebot and other sites. And that, you know, of course, it stops, you know, things tend to get overused and abused, and those things tend to fall by the wayside, and they get diluted. And so there's needs to be other ways to get backlinks to your site, and one of those is getting backlinks through blog networks. And one of those is by going to my blogging underground. That's my blogging blogging underground UNDERGROUND.com. And that is a site where you can actually have access to hundreds of blogs around the world on different topics. Obviously, they're not on every single topic. They're not all on the same topic that your site may relate to, but you'll find at least probably 60 to 100 of places to be able to nest your content and get a backlink to your site. So, you know, there's other ways to do it, but that's one of the more popular ways nowadays. Now, you should find whatever style of inbound links works for you. And I want to stress this. You can play around with the content on your page all you want, but you're only going to get a certain maximum number of points for that content on the page. So you're going to reach a ceiling on that maximum number of points that you're able to get. But for inbound links or backlinks to your site, there is no roof, or there's no ceiling on getting inbound links to your site. And you could have 1,000, you could have 3,000 backlinks to one specific web page, and many pages do have that, but you have to build that over time, and that's why inbound links and backlinks always trumps content on your page. In fact, you can actually get a web page with literally 0 content ranked just by using inbound links. Now, it's going to be tougher nowadays that Google has been getting tougher and tougher on their algorithm, but that's a whole other different conversation. So if you want to find some link building strategies, just go to google.com, type in link building strategies 2011, and you'll get the most recent articles that have to do with ways to get backlinks. If you have any questions, of course, just ask me here on the live show if there are any relevant sort of what are the most relevant techniques. There's actually a live show where I covered a couple pages of articles on ways to get backlinks and how relevant those particular strategies were for today, and which ones you want to stay away from. And like I said, the show is about getting clarities and having breakthroughs. So let's go real quickly about talking about real quickly the ground rules of the call. So right now, everyone is muted on the line right now. You can ask a question anytime during this webinar through the panel over to your right. Just type your question in and then hit the appropriate send or submit button that's there. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been a guest of my own show. But it should be pretty self-explanatory. And if you do want to have some live intervention, go ahead and type live chat in front of your question. That will prompt me to know that you want to interact, and we could go ahead and dig deeper into your specific issue. That's only if you want to interact. You're not required to. You can ask a question and just let me answer it, or we can interact, so I'll be able to unmute you and just type, of course, live chat in front of your question. So I will go from about 60 to 90 minutes, depending, of course, on the number of questions and my energy level. So let's go ahead and submit your questions now, and we'll go ahead and switch to our live browser screen here. Okay, and we will go directly to the nichebot site and be ready to take some questions. I will log into our demo account. So we'll go ahead and wait a couple of minutes here and just allow people to get their questions in. And there's actually a question that has come in where I want to go over a specific tool that is just about a revision of one of our tools that is about to be released. So I'm going to go ahead and actually log out of here, and I am going to log into a different area. Alrighty. So go ahead and get your questions in, and in the interim, I will be able to get to this specific tool that we're going to be discussing in our first question. All right. All right, so our first question is from Miranda, and her question is, could you explain to me the difference and the certain columns in the Analysis X tool, and explain exactly how I should be gauging my competition through it. So we're going to go forward and use a particular. We'll just use a sample keyword. We'll just use gift baskets, and this is going to be the new SEO stress test tool. And this is the tool you want to do your keyword analysis for, to really see whether or not how much competition you really have for a particular keyword. Now we're still sort of finishing up the last bit of development on this, on the revision of this tool. But what we've done is we've sort of divided up. There's 3 different sections of the tool. If you just want preliminary data, which is, is the keyword in the title tag of the top 10 pages. Basically what this tool does is take the top 10 to the top 50 sites and gets the the URLs for each of the sites and puts them in order and shows you exactly what the competition looks like for those top 10 sites for a given keyword. Now what we've done is we've taken the data and we're actually including some new data that we're introducing from Majestic SEO, which has to do with backlink data and some other pages index data. It kind of shows you it's a different breakdown of competition, and it's not to necessarily confuse you, but it's additional data that shows what's going on in the Google index. Now there's a really big issue going on with Google that a lot of people are not very aware of, and that is Google does not like webmasters using its index at google.com to find out the competition or the backlinks, and they actually hide backlink data. So, and what's happened is that Google has actually even canceled particularly some development tools that allows places like nichebot, word tracker, and all the other types of keyword tool sites to be able to get at data behind google.com. They just don't want google.com slowed down to slow down the user experience for the visitors. So they've basically shut down all the development tools. For one, they weren't showing accurate data. So the new replacement is this service called Majestic SEO Data. We'll have to obviously change that to Majestic SEO Data. And then there's Alexa Data, which happens to be an Amazon company. And for those people around the world that have the Alexa toolbar installed on their computer, and of course not everyone has the Alexa toolbar installed on their computer, it tracks what sites they visit. And this is a way of showing sort of how a particular website ranks in the system. So you're able to get some Alexa data, you're able to get some backlink data from Alexa, as well as some actual contact information for the websites. And this tool can also be used to contact particular website owners about exchanging content with them, so you can get their address, their phone number, whatever data they have listed. Not everyone has updated their Alexa data, but there are a lot of websites in the listings that actually have their data available, their address, their phone number, so you can call people. If that's a great way to go ahead and reach out and try to do some content swaps. You put content on their site, and you try to arrange over the phone. It's a more personalized way of doing it, and it's actually a great way to develop relationships with other website owners. So we're going to go ahead and get all the data so that I can show you in one fell swoop. This is going to take a little bit of time. As you can see, nichebot is now performing over 250 searches to retrieve all the keyword data, all the data that will populate your keyword analysis chart, and the bot appreciates your patience. So this is going to take a little bit of a second to go ahead and process before it populates the entire chart. You'll see how large this chart is. We've actually expanded it so large that it's going to have to, it will actually fit this entire screen, which is pretty large. I think this is like 1920 pixels wide. So as this populates, now this is, wow, okay, they've already made the changes that I've requested to this. So as you see, it's a pretty wide chart. And as you can see, we've sectioned off where the data is coming from. These two first column obviously is Google PageRank, which is really kind of, a lot of people want to see PageRank, but it doesn't really matter nowadays. PageRank is not given that much weight, and even Google says that there really is not that much weight that should be put on PageRank. Then we've got the age of the domain, which kind of tells you, as you can see here, you know, a lot of the sites here, this one site, giftbaskets.com, is supposedly only half year old, which is pretty good. That gives hope that you could get into the top of the sites. But as you can see, most of the other sites are fairly well aged. 12 years old, 8 years old, 8.7, 14.2, 15 years old, 13 years old, 21 years old, which is an EDU site, and 15.3. So this kind of tells us, really, it's going to be pretty tough to get into the top graces of Google for gift baskets, the main keyword. Then you can see we have the categories sectioned off here. We have directories, which these are two directories, dmoz.org and Yahoo directory. Then you've got on-page factors, some generic search engine backlink data. We've got the Majestic SEO data that's right here. And then we've got data provided by Alexa.com here. As you can see, we've got all the address and phone number data. Here's Overstock. And it's pretty useful if you want to actually even do some over-the-phone marketing to reach out and develop relationships with other websites. Now, we're trying to, for instance, trying to assess how difficult it would be to get into the top 10 for gift baskets. So we're going to take a look at, is there anyone, we'll go through each column at a time or each section. So for now we're going to go through directories. So we've got dmoz.org, which is a directory that Google really likes to depend on for authority. And if you have a listing in there, you're going to get some significant boost in Google. And as you can see, no one actually is in the dmoz directory in these top 10 results. Now obviously we could get the top 20 results or the top 50 results if we wanted to, but the top 50 will only give you the Alexa data, which is another great way to go about and do marketing directly to companies using that Alexa data only function for the top 50 sites. Now, as you can see, there are a couple. Most of the sites are in the Yahoo directory, but this one here, SF Gift Baskets, which I would assume SF stands for San Francisco. The next column, as we can see, is keyword in the title tag. Now, as you can see, primarily, I would say 70% of the sites have the keyword gift baskets in their title tag, but not every one of them does. And as you can see, these are really like a big chunk, pretty much a lot of the major influences of what allows a site to get into the top ranks. These are all the different factors that should be considered. That would be age, the directories, the on-page factors, the off-page factors, some additional SEO backlink data, and that would be pretty much it. Now, let's see, we're going to the next one, which is the keyword in the URL. Well, as you can see, none of these have the keyword in the URL. The keyword in the description, which most of these do have it in their description, which is usually the second and third line in the Google listing of each site's, in Google, it's the second and third listing in each site's listing. So everyone has that. The keyword in the header, that is the header tag, would be in the, down in the content. Do they have the keyword in the header tag? Most of them, I would say 50-50 for both sites. Now this is really where the next batch of data comes, the SE backlink data, which we talked about backlinks in the beginning of the show and how important and critical they are. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of backlinks. Now there's 3 different types of backlink data here. As you can see, each one varies. Okay. We're going to discuss each one of them. This is backlinks to the page, to that particular page. In other words, this particular page. As you can see, this is a main page, whereas this overstock page is a sub page. As you can see, that's a longer page. This is a main URL. This is a main URL. This is a main URL. This is a sub page. Sub page. There's a Wikipedia sub page. Here's an EDU sub page. And this Harry and David site is the main page. So we've got backlinks to the page. We've got backlinks to the page outside the domain. And why is that important? See, there's 4,400 backlinks to the page, but there could be, this gift basket sites could be a huge site that has a lot of internal links pointing to that front page. Well, those will get picked up, whereas there are only 1,370 backlinks to the page outside the domain. So that discounts all of the internal links to the page. And then this shows the actual backlinks to the domain outside the domain. So as you can see, this site, even though it's only a half-year old, has got 187,761 backlinks to the domain outside the domain, which is pretty significant. And that probably is one of the reasons and explains why this site is #1, even though it's only been aged a half a year. That's 6 months. So this is one of the reasons why I'm saying even iGourmet, if you take a look at iGourmet, this site has a lot. It has actually 2 or 3 times the backlinks that giftbaskets.com does have, and it is in the #5 position, which is quite unusual. But as I was saying in the beginning of the site, obviously you see there's 187,000 backlinks to the domain outside the domain, while iGourmet only has 68,000. So while it does have more backlinks to the page than giftbaskets.com, it doesn't have more overall backlinks to the actual domain. So that's why I keep saying backlinks always trump any content on the page, and it will trump other sites that have less backlinks to its domain. So really, backlinks rule without a doubt. Now, quality is important. So we've got these 3 columns here that shows all the backlink data for each particular listing here in the Analysis X tool. And we can tell, obviously, it would take a lot of work. And I'm sure this site that's only a half-year old probably has a bunch of people working for it to be able to get that many backlinks to the site. Now let's go ahead and take a look at additional data. And that is this data here that says index backlink data provided by Majestic SEO. Now we've got RD. What does RD mean? That means, as we see down here on the bottom chart, it refers to referring domains. So how many domains are actually pointing to giftbaskets.com? 5,964 as far as Majestic SEO is concerned. And as you can see here, most of this data is pretty relative to the data that's shown on backlinks to the page and the backlinks to the page outside the domain. It's pretty relative according to what's going on here. and this is reporting what's going on inside of the google.com index. What Majestic SEO has done is they have crawled as much of the google.com index and has stored this data inside of their servers to be able to bring all this data and show it. And we have a special arrangement with them for them to show this data to us. Now, one of the pieces of data we're looking to refine, as you can see, this column has ones and one negative one, and that would be the PI column, which is pages indexed. That is, how many pages are there indexed for this specific site? And that's good to know because it tells you how big the sites are that you're going up against in the top 10. So obviously we want these backlinks numbers. If we're going to go up against the top 10 competition and try to break into the top 10, we want to know what these numbers are in the backlinks to know how hard we're going to have to work, because a lot of people don't want to work that hard, so you want to make sure these numbers are down low. You know, I mean, we're talking down near 10 to 50 backlinks, okay? All right. Now we're moving along from the pages index, which we're working on that. That's the final thing. We've got to decide on whether that's going to work or we're going to have to toss that column out. And that all goes with programming and SEO, working with Majestic SEO. Now we've come along here. Some of their data that is really good is this particular data right here, and that is the EDU backlinks. It's very, you know, getting a backlink from a generic .com, .net, .biz site is great, but it's not as great and authoritative as getting a backlink from an EDU site because it's really hard to get one. Now, nichebot had, back in the past, we had a gentleman that was on the faculty at a well-known college, and actually on his particular page in the ergonomics division had a link to nichebot for its particular keyword that we requested be put on the page, and he put, you know, whatever backlink text we wanted on his page, and it was Cornell University in the ergonomics division. I don't know if that's still there. That was quite some time ago. But getting a backlink from an EDU site is 10 times more powerful as far as I'm concerned, because Google sees it, you can't get it. You can't buy an EDU site. You've got to. There's a special process you've got to go through, and of course you can't get a .gov site. You actually have to have a governmental agency or be part of a governmental agency to have a .gov site. So getting links from these two types of domain TLDs is incredibly, it can be a factor in getting a high ranking. As you can see, this top site actually has 32 EDU backlinks outside the domain. Now, I'm trying to break this down. There is, okay, so it's the first one is referring domains outside the domain, and then the other, okay, so there are 7 domains that are referring to giftbaskets.com, and there are 32 backlinks outside the domain. So we've got DOD, which means domains, referring domains outside the domain, and BOD, which is backlinks outside the domain. It's sort of similar to this, but it's in a different context. So as you can see, this top site has 32 backlinks outside the domain, which are pointing in towards giftbaskets.com, and 7 domains that are referring to giftbaskets.com outside the domain. So these 32 backlinks could be coming from one of the 7 sites within here. And there is actually a way to get links coming from EDU sites. You've got to have access, or there's certain little tricks to be able to find WordPress type sites that are called multi-user sites, multi-user WordPress sites, MU, and you're able to register an account, put some content on the page, and get a backlink from an EDU site. So there are ways to do it. We're not going to go into that on this particular show. We're just going through this. Then we've got the .gov backlinks and referring domains. As you can see, this site has one referring domain outside their domain to gift baskets, and one backlink outside the domain. So there's not too many here. As you can see here, Harry and David actually has 21 backlinks outside the domain on .gov sites, and they've got a number of EDU. Well, Harry and David's been around a while, so we already know they're a huge authority, and they have a considerable number of backlinks here to the domain outside the domain. But as we can see, this obviously shows that it's going to be heavily ice cold to be able to try and break into the top 10 without some considerable amount of work. So we want to make sure that these numbers are down. Now, as we can see, we'll go through the rest of this data to kind of share with you what's going on here. We've got the Alexa backlinks. As you can see, there's 185 backlinks that Alexa reports for the top site, then 5,831. There's 469 here. Wow, this one has, in Wikipedia, Wikipedia has 431,555. Now, these are the backlinks basically pointing to the domain. Okay, and I wouldn't consider Alexa as an authority on the backlinks, on reporting on backlinks to a site. So this is great to have this data sort of as a comparison to this other data over here. And as you can see, we're trying to show you as much backlink data as possible, but I wouldn't consider this very authoritative. Now, what is interesting is you get to see through Alexa what the user activity is like, how many page views each user usually takes on a particular site. And as you can see on the gift basket site, only 2.2 pages. And as far as I'm concerned, this is usually one of the highest factors, as far as I'm concerned, in the recent Google algorithm change, as to one of the reasons why Google is rearranging. It's one of the factors that I believe they are rearranging their index, and a lot of sites have dropped out, is because Google wants to make sure that their searches for their visitors are very, very on point, and they're very relative to what people are searching for. And if you have a low page view, or you have a high bounce back rate where the visitor hits your site or hits the site that's listed on Google, and then they bounce back to Google, that's a signal to Google that that page is not what someone's looking for, and you could get a ranking scooted down to the second page as a result of that. So here we can see how many different page views there are for the sites, and we can see whether they've gone down 14%. This one has gone up 0.2%. This site is down from 3.4%. This particular site is down to 3.4, down 50%. So they must have been up at 6.8 pages. So this is just additional data. I don't think this is necessarily highly considered ranking factor, but it kind of tells you how sticky a site is. Obviously, the sites that like 6.62, 4.17, 4.3, these are the more sticky sites that are obviously keeping the visitor on the site. And then, of course, we have the Alexa rank. Basically, I don't really think this is hugely accurate, but it's saying that this top site is the 223,000 sites out of all the sites. It's one of the top 223,000 sites. They're saying that whatever site this is, Overstock.com is the 850th most trafficked site on the internet. So I don't necessarily believe that this is a true ranking. A lot of people like to refer to Alexa as, wow, they've got this 5,000 Alexa ranking, which doesn't mean squat. For certain industries, most people that have the Alexa toolbar installed on their browser, it really, I don't believe there's going to be certain people in certain industries that have more of the toolbar installed on their browser, whereas a lot of more shopping type oriented people on Google are not going to be as savvy and have the Google toolbar. So the savvier people are going to have different types of keywords they're looking at, different type of industries they're involved in, and they may not be going over to gift basket sites, so they're not going to be tracked. So this number here again is not very, as far as I'm concerned, accurate, and not a great gauge on how really well trafficked a site is, because it can be quite deceptive. So, and then we have the Alexa contact info. Like I was saying before, this is a great way if you want to market directly to an audience. You want to build a database of the sites that are related to your industry. You may want to make some inroads with these sites to be able to create relationships and be able to do content swaps, which can be extremely powerful, because the more on point, similar the content that goes on somebody else's site that's similar to your industry, the more powerful the backlinks are going to be. And usually you could get away with having 2 to 3 backlinks on each page, and you want to have each backlink pointing to a different page on your site, which is the target. And but it can be very powerful because you're actually doing a content swap with a site that's related to your own industry. All right, so that basically takes care of that. Miranda, I hope that answers all your questions. That kind of takes you through the actual new tool that will be coming out and will be part of the keyword analysis tool that really kind of shows you some in-depth information for each particular keyword that you want to be able to rank for. Now remember, inside the keyword briefcase, you have your particular searches. And let's say, for instance, you've got one here for DVD. And see, we really, if we go ahead and get the competition for, say, these 3 words, we're going to go ahead and get the competition data for those 4 words. This is going to show us how many sites there are that have the keyword in the title tag. And as you'll see, as we're getting the data, this is only one number versus having all of this data for the entire keyword as to what the competition looks like. So it's really not much data to go on when you're just looking at this particular view. See, as we can see, the competition, there's 12,400,000 other sites that have the keyword in the title tag. Okay, there's 1,220,000. So this is very one-dimensional data. That's why if you really want to truly see what the competition looks like for a particular keyword, you want to go and use the keyword SEO stress test tool. Okay. And that can be found here in the analysis tools under keyword analysis X, and that actually should say SEO stress test actually in the live version of nichebot. We're right now in the development area. So let's go to one of our next questions. We actually took a considerable amount of time for that particular question. And Lucy asks, I hear a lot about so-called buying keyword phrases. What is a buying keyword phrase? Okay, well, I'm going to take you through actually a little bit of I'm going to show you kind of what it takes going through a keyword buying decision and what it looks like on Google as I was going through. I'm going to I'm going to give you an example of what it was like me going through shopping for something and how I arrived at a buying keyword. Okay, so I'm going to take you back a couple of years when I first had a Bluetooth phone, a cell phone, and I needed to get something where I could play my music on my headset. So I needed, instead of just a regular Bluetooth headset, I needed something I could play my music through that would sound better than just a mono type of, I wanted something that was in stereo. So when I first started out searching on Google, I started out with, I had no clue about Bluetooth headsets. This was brand new to me. So I started out by doing Bluetooth headset or Bluetooth headset reviews. And it probably just first started out Bluetooth headset. So then I went through and I noticed, okay, there's Motorola that has some Bluetooth headsets, there's Plantronics, there's Jawbone, all those types of things. And then I said, okay, well, I need to go and take a look at what the reviews are for certain Bluetooth headsets. And as you can see here, in Google Instant, we can already see what kind of keywords people are typing in here, because some people want to get the most current reviews. They don't want to read reviews from 2008 or 2009, so they're going to type in 2011. But I probably just had generic Bluetooth headset reviews, and then I hit the enter. And, you know, you'll see sites like CNET, PC Mag, and based on, you know, how authoritative the sites are. See, now I wouldn't go to a place like BluetoothHeadsetReview.org, because to me, I'm already a savvy searcher, so I wouldn't go to that site, because I know that they're trying to look like an authoritative site by using a .org name. But I would go to a place like Engadget that I know. I would go to consumerresearch.com. I'd go to PC Mag and look at that, and then of course reviews on CNET. That's one of the most authoritative ones that has reviews on all sorts of electronic equipment. So of course I'd go and visit these sites, and I'd start learning about, you know, what I need to look for, you know, which ones are the best ones. Obviously this doesn't have, this is a buying guide. It's not really reviews of headsets. Here's a headset review. So here we've got, I start looking through the different ones, and now I'm looking for what can I use to be able to play back my music. So I'm looking for, you know, I'm looking along here, and I noticed that I think it was the one that I went for, I think was this Discovery. Let me see the picture and I'll know if that's the one. But I was searching along, and then I realized, one of my keywords, I don't think this is it actually. Let me see. No, I don't think this is it. No, that's not it. But I was looking through here, and I noticed that I found one of the keywords was stereo, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. So I went back to Google, and I started refining my keyword to Bluetooth stereo headset reviews. So I start reviewing which what type of now here's a PC World review. So I'm going to go take a look at what kind of models there are for Bluetooth headsets. Oh God, here we go, an ad. How do I get past this? Okay, I'm going to proceed to PC World. Okay, great. Next, so here we go. They've got a number of different ones. See, unlike monaural, those are the ones I wanted to avoid. I wanted to get the stereo headsets. Now, here are some ones that are being mentioned: the Motorola Moto Rocker, the LG Electronics one, the Sony Ericsson one, and then I noticed that there was one coming from Plantronics. And eventually I decided I was going to go based on the Plantronics. Now, here's the interesting thing. So I'm going to go and find the exact, I think this is the one that I got, was the Voyager 855. Yep, this is the one. See, it plugs into your ear, it's got an over-the-ear thing, and then it's got an extra piece that plugs into your ear. And this was before they actually came out with this thing, the Backbeat, which I can't stand because it actually doesn't even fit in my ears. So this is the one I ended up going for. It was the Plantronics Voyager 855. So I spent a good probably 4 hours reading, going over different ones until I finally arrived at this particular one. Now, I didn't bookmark any sites. I didn't do anything other than kind of jumbled in my head what exactly I wanted. And as soon as I arrived at the decision of what I wanted, I didn't bookmark any sites, so I didn't know where exactly I had been. I couldn't even tell you which reviews I had, which PC reviews or Bluetooth headset reviews I had, which sites I had even reviewed. All I could tell you is that I knew exactly which model I wanted. So I knew it was the Plantronics Voyager, so my final keyword was Plantronics Voyager 855 Bluetooth stereo headset, and I ended up putting in sale. Why? Because I wanted the best price. Because now what's important to know about the fact that I didn't bookmark anybody, I didn't bookmark any of the review sites. Not only that, I didn't go from any of the review sites over to a site to look and see if I wanted to purchase because I hadn't made up my mind yet. But this keyword right here is actually the keyword I went back to Google and started typing in to find where I was going to buy it. So if you notice, I didn't consider any of the review sites because, one, I hadn't bookmarked any of them, and they're not showing up here in any of these, okay, except maybe, look, reviews CNET, okay, but most of these are places where you can shop and purchase a Plantronics Voyager 855 Bluetooth headset, stereo Bluetooth headset. As you can see, this site right here actually has the whole word that I type in as their keyword phrase, and so does this one. And these, obviously, Plantronics is the main site. Now, obviously, I don't want to go shop directly at the manufacturer's site because I know I'm going to have to pay retail price. So I ended up probably buying from either Amazon, or I tried, you know, this was in the beginning days when I wasn't as savvy, and I realized that now I can pretty much find everything I want at Amazon at the lowest price because they have multiple, you know, wholesalers there and retailers that have their own stores there. But at the time, I didn't know that, and I was trying to hunt for the best price. And so you can see you got 17 stores here that for $40. So as you can see, the buying decision is made on a completely different keyword. It's a much longer keyword, and it's not what you think your, original keyword would be, like Bluetooth stereo headset, right? That was the original keyword I started out with, or may have just started out as Bluetooth headset. Now, the important thing to realize about that is Bluetooth headset is going to get tons of traffic. You're not going to be dying for traffic, but you're going to get a lot of traffic where people come through, gather information, and they may not necessarily even ever go back to that site, to your site, if you have a top position for Bluetooth headset, because it's the beginning place where someone starts their research, starts to find out what they're looking for. Now, obviously, if someone knows exactly already what they're looking for and they go searching online, they're going to type something similar to this into Google. So that's the difference between a research keyword phrase, which is Bluetooth headset, or a buying keyword phrase, which is has more what's called commercial intent. In other words, the person is wanting to buy the keyword, wants to buy what's involved in their keyword search. So obviously, someone wants to buy specifically a Plantronics Voyager 855 Bluetooth stereo headset, and they'll put either sale or compare or something along those lines to get a price comparison so that they can get the best possible price. I mean, we're all creatures of habit, and we all love getting a deal on something. I don't think everyone, other than maybe, the very rich, don't mind paying full price, even above full price. But most of us, we want to get a deal. I mean, even, when I have enough money and don't need to worry about it, I'm still always wanting to get a deal because it just feels good. I don't know. Don't ask me why. So that's the difference between a research keyword phrase and a buying keyword phrase. It's the keyword phrase, the buying keyword phrase is the one at the very end that someone is typing into Google that makes that they've already made a buying decision. They're about to get that product, and that's where you want to be at the top of Google for these type of keywords. And the point I wanted to make about the Bluetooth headset keyword phrase is you're going to get a lot of traffic, but you're not going to convert a lot of traffic into a sale. Whereas you may get 50,000 visitors for Bluetooth headset, but you may only get 5 sales. You could get 50 visitors for Plantronics Voyager 855 Bluetooth stereo headset sale. Okay? Now, you may get only 50 visitors, but you could get 15 customers. Now, would you rather have 50 visitors with a keyword phrase that doesn't have as much competition, that won't take you as long to rank for, and convert more visitors, which could be around 25 to 30% of the visitors, versus a keyword phrase where you get a lot of visitors, 50,000, and only convert 5 visitors, which is like probably atrociously underneath 0.1%. Obviously, you want to get one where you can rank easier for, and I can tell you, ranking for Bluetooth headset or Bluetooth stereo headset is going to be extremely difficult, because you're going to have the same type of amount of backlinks that people are going for, just like you saw for gift baskets. So that's really kind of what you want to aim for. And see, a lot of people ignore these keywords because they go, there's only 50 visitors coming in, or there's only 45 visitors a month. So what's that, only 1 visitor or 2 visitors a day? Big deal. I'm not going for that. Well, they're missing out on probably a lot more customers and a lot less competition to try and rank for a keyword like this. So I really hope I got that through to you, Lucy, on what a buying keyword phrase is, because you're going to have a lot easier time ranking for it, and you're going to get a lot more customers once they get to your page. And as you can see here, actually, you don't have as many ads here towards the top. Let me see here. And these are actually the ads. You can see the slight tinting. So there are some ads here, but it's just not as heavy as you usually get when you type in Bluetooth headset. You do have a couple of shopping choices up here, but you want to get here. Right here is the top #1 position, top #1 to 2 position, and obviously you want to make sure that you've got the keyword in your title tag. This is your title tag right here for any site listing. This is the title tag. You can see, let's see here. I would say about 30% of the sites have the actual keyword phrase that I typed in, other than, of course, sale. They may not have sale in there, but this is your title tag. The second and third line is your keyword description tag. You want to have some of the keywords in here that you're striving for in the search to get ranked for, and then of course having the keyword in your domain, not in your domain but in your URL, is it's a semi, it's, I would say, maybe a 1% or 2% boost to help you get a ranking. It's not going to be 80% of your ranking factor. I would say it's like 1 to 2%. But every little thing counts. That's what. So these are all the things you should consider. But that's basically what, in a nutshell, what a buying keyword phrase is. And it's, you just want to, you can actually go through the process. In other words, pretend like you're I don't want to say a dumb customer or a consumer, but pretend that you are a complete novice in your industry and you're a consumer that wants to get educated about what your product is, and just try to pretend like you don't know a darn thing about whatever your product service is. What would you start searching for? Those are the keys you want. Those are the keyword phrases you want to avoid. Now, you don't necessarily want to avoid those keyword phrases in larger keyword phrases, but those are the beginning keyword phrases you want to avoid, and it's the ones at the end that you actually want to go for. So you want to go through the whole, as if you just wipe everything off your mind that you know about your industry, and start searching, and then you want to focus on what are the keywords at the end that would make a buying decision for you. What is those end keyword phrases that you might type in once you've gone through the keyword, once you've gone through the research phase of educating yourself as a novice consumer, and then once you're educated, what are those phrases that you might choose at the end that are going to help you in your buying decision? Because it's those keyword phrases in the beginning where those sites most people never ever return to, and it basically, all those keyword phrases just use up your bandwidth on your web server or your hosting account and nothing else. I mean, you'll get a few customers out of tens of thousands of visitors. The point is you want to get the least amount of visitors to get the most amount of sales, and that's kind of what I took you through in my example of my shopping experience. And everyone, no matter what, is going to research. They're going to look at reviews. They're going to gather information on what the competition is. Okay, and usually it ends up being, it's going to be brand names out there that people discover. So if you want to be if you want to be in front of buying keyword choices, some of those keywords may be someone else's company name. It could be another competitor in your arena. You may want to try to get ranked for that particular keyword. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing against it legitimately ranking for a keyword phrase that happens to be your competition, because you want to be wherever your visitor is going to go to make a buying decision, and you may end up, if you're outranking your competitor, they may end up going with you instead of the competitor. So you want to try to be everywhere you can in front of their face. So we have gone now an hour and 10 minutes. We do have a bunch of other questions that I'm going to stock up and hold for the next show. And I want you to, of course, save your questions or any questions that have been sparked as a result of what I've talked about, the 2 questions that I answered, the keyword analysis tool called SEO Stress Test, and this particular buying keyword phrase illustration that I have taken you through. Hold those questions until next week, and we will continue onward in the next show. So we're going to stop here because my brain is kind of putty already from talking an hour and 10 minutes straight. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. And you want to tune in here every week, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is now Pacific Daylight Time. And tune in to overcome your obstacles, not your articles, and start having more and more breakthroughs, because after all, you deserve it. I know I struggled for a while, and there's no reason you should. And you want to go ahead and review the Quick Start Guide for proper foundation. There's a lot of other stuff beyond just how to do keyword research and links to other great resources. And you want to go ahead and incorporate one way of building backlinks to your site, whether it be taking a trial over at mybloggingunderground.com or finding a tool like Fast Directory Submitter, which you can find at fastdirectorysubmitter.com to submit your site to all the directories to start getting backlinks. Find one way of getting backlinks to your site and start incorporating that. You got to do one thing at a time and then stack more and more and more on top of it. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with 5 or 10 different ways. Just do one at a time, get used to doing that, and incorporate that, and then add another one. And then, of course, you want to jot down your shows as you're going along through the week, doing your keyword research and your SEO and your optimization, and jot down your questions, save them for the show. And decide, of course, whether you wish to share your URL with the group if you want me to review your site. Explain your situation in detail with specifics so I can truly envision the problem. Because if the more vague your question is, the more vague my answer is going to be. And I want to be able to get through and be as clear as possible, so the more detail you can give, the more detail I can give you back in return. And that's the next slide. And I want to make sure I'm here basically to help you move forward and get you unstuck so you're not held back. Too many people get stuck, they don't move forward, they don't progress, and they just stay frustrated, and I want to try to alleviate that for you. So on that note, we'll make sure to see you here back on the next show. Take care, everyone.